Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chainarotam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapraye Purvatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita by Satsvarup Das Goswami, Volume 1, A Lifetime in Preparation, India 1896 to 1965, chapters, today starting in chapter 8, New Delhi crying alone in the wilderness. I've got the clue of going back to Godhead just after leaving my present material body, and in order to take along with me all my contemporary men and women of the world, I've started my paper, Back to God, as one of the means to the way. Please don't think of me as something wonderful or a madman when I say I shall go back to God after leaving my present material body. It is quite possible for everyone and all of us. From a letter to India's President, Mr. Rajendra Prasad. When Abhay arrived in Mathura, he sought out Keshav Maharaj, who was now establishing his mutt, and presented him with the deity of Lord Chaitanya. At Keshav Maharaj's request, Abhay agreed to stay there and entered the body of Matrika. Abhay was given a room, and for the first time, aside from brief visits, he lived in a mutt with his god brothers. As a senior, experienced devotee, Abhay held classes and instructed the brahmacharis, who were young, uneducated, and even illiterate in the disciplines of devotion service and the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. He had only recently begun his duties with Bhakti Sarang, when Bhakti Sarang Goswami, another sannyasi god brother, asked Bhaktivedanta Prabhu to assist him in New Delhi at his ashram, Gaudiya Sangha. Both Keshav Maharaj and Bhakti Sarang Goswami recognized Abhay as an accomplished writer and editor and wanted to work with him. It was accepted amongst Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's disciples that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhu was an expert preacher and writer, whether in English, Hindi, or Bengali. Now Keshav Maharaj wanted Abhay to stay and work on Gaudiya Patrika, while Bhakti Sarang Maharaj, who had to go to Bengal, was requesting him to come to Delhi to produce the harmonist, known in Hindi as Sajjan Toshan. Abhay was agreeable to Bhakti Sarang Goswami's proposition, and Keshav Maharaj consented, on the condition that Abhay also continued to edit the Gaudiya Patrika, at least by mail. So he was in big demand. As an editor, Abhay was in his element, and he was happy to preach in cooperation with his god brothers. Although Abhay didn't consider himself an accomplished scholar or author, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had been pleased by his writings and had encouraged him to continue. And now these senior sannyasis of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati were turning to him for help. They were practically competing to see who would get the benefit of his services. Perhaps Abhay thought this should be his life's work, serving humbly under the direction of his god brothers. His ejection from Jhansi had been a kind of setback. At least it had left him temporarily unsure of how Krishna wanted to use him. But now his god brothers seemed to be answering the question. Living and working in an ashram with brahmacharis or sannyasis was a way of life Abhay had always considered too austere. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had remarked, better he lived outside your company. But now he would either have to struggle alone with nothing or stay within the shelter of a friendly portion of the Gaudiya Math. Perhaps he could carry out his desires to preach Krishna consciousness within the ashrams of his god brother. Since he would soon be the editor of Sajjan Toshni, he began thinking of how to expand it. It was a scholarly Vaishnava journal, but cheaply produced and with a very limited circulation. He envisioned it surpassing India's slick illustrated weekly It should be more popular than Time or Life magazines of America. And why not? Krishna was no poor man. Abhay thought of how he could start an ambitious subscription program by approaching the many prominent and wealthy men of New Delhi. Then, by Krishna's grace, he would soon be able to print color photos and use high quality paper to Sajjan Toshi. He would give it his best effort, depending on Krishna. And while soliciting subscribers, he could take his book manuscripts and try to get them published. Dr. Alagappa in South India had wanted to publish a Gita Upanishad. No doubt there were many men like him. Or perhaps Bhakti Sarang Goswami would be willing to publish Abhay's works with funds from Gaudiya Sangh. Abhay soon received a letter from Bhakti Sarang Goswami's assistant, carefully instructing him how to travel to Delhi at the least expense. He was to travel by train, third class, to Delhi, and from there take a Tanga. Since Tangas at the station gate charged too much, Abhay should first walk about 100 meters towards the right-hand side of the station. So this is to the old Delhi station, where he would find a cheaper one. Were he to ride alone, he should pay no more than 1 rupee and 12 annas. But he should try to share the Tanga with another passenger, then that would be cheaper. Keeping the crematorium to your left side, the assistant instructed. If you look towards the right, then you'll be able to see the red flag and the signboard written in Hindi and English. When you reach there, we will pay for the Tanga. At the Gaudiya Sangha, Abhay found a disconcerting state of affairs. In the absence of the Guru, Bhakti Sarang Goswami, the brahmacharis were quarreling and shirking their duties. And as a result, the preaching and donation gathering were being neglected. Cleanliness, deity worship, cooking, and even peace amongst the devotees were below standard. And like most of the mathas of his god brothers, the Gaudiya Sangha was poor. Abhay had come thinking he would be editing a magazine, but he found himself contending with a group of quarreling neophyte devotees. He learned that the brahmachari responsible for giving public lectures had not done any preaching. The devotees who had previously been holding kirtans in people's homes were now negligent, and the errand boy refused to run because he had lost his bicycle. Then a brahmachari handed Abhay a letter from Bhakti Sarang Goswami requesting him to take up the general management of the mutt. Inspire everyone to be engaged in service. Otherwise, I do not know how we are going to print the English monthly magazine. Since we don't have much money in the fund and since the brahmacharis are quite careless. Akinchan Maharaj wrote that he is unable to take the responsibility of the management. It will be very nice if you could keep your eyes on these affairs. And Abhay found other obstacles in trying to produce Sajjan Toshini. No typewriter and bad relations with the printer. In a few days, Abhay received another letter from Bhakti Sarang Goswami, telling him what articles to print, cautioning him not to change essential elements in the magazine, and reminding him of his special duty. I have asked Akinchan Maharaj to hand over the keys of my room to you so that you may use my room only for your office work. As you're there, you should try to maintain peace in the ashram for giving necessary instructions to one and all. Abhay saw that he could do no editorial work until the laxity and petty quarreling in the ashram stopped. But when he tried to help as Bhakti Sarang Goswami had directed, some of the devotees had rebelled and even wrote to their spiritual master, complaining. So those who think that ashram life is any easy, it's not at all easy. It's very difficult. Yes. Because see, we are not at that spiritual level yet. So still the material conditioning, especially the enviousness, obviously other anarthas too are there in everybody. And then the clashes are always there. It was against many obstacles that Abhay met the publisher's deadline for the August 1955 issue of Sajjan Toshni. Yet, owing to the printer's delay, the magazine did not come out until September. When at last the first copies were delivered, Abhay sent several to Bhakti Sarang Goswami in Calcutta, asking for his response. Abhay never heard from his godbrother directly, but received further instructions from Bhakti Sarang Goswami's secretary, Ramanand, who pointed out various mistakes in the issue, without mentioning whether Bhakti Sarang had been pleased with it. The errors were mostly technical matters of style. Abhay had done the contents page in a different way and had not printed Bhakti Sarang Goswami's name exactly as he had wanted it on all his articles. Regarding Abhay's request for a typewriter, Ramanand wrote that if the matters are distinctly written, there is no necessity of them being given to the printer in typewriting. Abhay wrote to Bhakti Sarang Goswami requesting him to return to Delhi and establish a peaceful atmosphere in the mutt. Regarding Sajjan Toshni, Bhakti Sarang Goswami had suggested that the paper for the cover be improved and that the whole magazine be done on a nicer paper by an up-to-date press. And Abhay agreed. But improvements depended on money. The suggestion that the paper may be printed from Calcutta is all right, but my suggestion is that either in Calcutta or in Delhi, we must have our own press with good equipment so that we may be able to broadcast the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all the important languages, especially in Hindi and English. Hindi is meant for all India propaganda, while English is meant for worldwide propaganda. Abhay further reported that since it was almost impossible to expect a printer to work speedily from handwritten manuscripts, he had already rented a typewriter. He also mentioned his ideas for increasing the number of subscribers. Abhay's son Vrindavan came to live with him for a few months at the Gaudiya. There was no question of Abhay's returning to his family, and Vrindavan simply associated with his father, following the routines of the mutt and helping Abhay in his duties. One day, a prominent advocate, the president of the Hindu Mahasabha, paid an unexpected visit to the Gaudiya. The mutt was mostly deserted and there was no prasadam on hand. So Abhay and Vrindavan received the prominent guest, cooking for him, offering him prasadam, and acquainting him with the activities of the Sangha. When Abhay wasn't busy managing the disorganized mutt and working on the Gaudiya Patrika and Sajjan Toshni, he spent his time preparing a Hindi translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Although he was more accustomed to writing in English and Bengali, he reasoned that as long as he was preaching in Hindi-speaking areas, such a book would be important. Bhakti Sarang Goswami wrote that he wanted to print only 500 copies of Sajjan Toshni for the September issue, but Abhay wanted to print more. After making an agreement with the printer and the charges would be the same for 1,000 copies as for 500, he wrote Bhakti Sarang Goswami informing him of the good news. Abhay also told him that he had recently secured a donation of printing paper and that he had arranged for 1/4 reduction in the postal charges. So why, for the matter of saving some papers, we shall not print the full number? In my opinion, we should print more than 1,000 copies every month and distribute them in large scale. But Bhakti Sarang replied through a brief postcard that they should print no more than 500. Abhay continued his attempts to improve Sajjan Toshni. For him, it was not a perfunctory duty, but absorbing preaching. In a letter to Bhakti Sarang Goswami, he expressed anxiety over waiting for him to send articles for the next issue. Funds were scarce, so scarce that Abhay had no decent dhoti, and yet he continued to envision a glorious future for Sajjan Toshni. I wish to see this paper just to the standard of illustrated weekly with numerous pictures in order to make it a very popular literature. And for this, I wish to move myself to secure subscribers as well as advertisers. I wish to visit good businessmen, insurance companies, and government officers in this connection. But I have no proper dress at all. I want 2 sets of good dresses in order to take up this responsibility, and I shall be glad to have your decision on this matter. It's my heart's desire that this paper is improved to the highest elevation. Abhay also requested that Bhakti Sarang Goswami help him publish his Hindi Chaitanya Charitamrita. Some non-Bengali gentlemen were demanding the book, and had assured Abhay that they would pay 25 rupees per volume. Abhay requested a loan of 600 rupees under any arrangement suitable to Bhakti Sarang Goswami for publishing the first part of this work. If this part is sold out, Abhay wrote, the other parts will automatically come out. But just as life in the Gaudiya sung and wrote on and work on Sajjan Toshni and the Bhakti Sarang Goswami's hand produced a strain for Abhay. Abhay's ambitions for increased circulation and his strong editorial opinions also created strain for Bhakti Sarang Goswami. In response to Abhay's letter, Bhakti Sarang Goswami's secretary, Ramanam, wrote a letter full of flowery praises of Bhaktivedanta Prabhu, but with the intent of dismissing him from his position with the Gaudiya Sangh. Even in spiritual circles, so many leg pulling goes on. Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. So this is letter from Ramana. We received your letter concerning a return to Shri Guru Maharaj on 5/10/55. Your project is very lofty, and you are a well-wisher of our society. We got to know that also. Since the last 2 months, in spite of so many difficulties, the difficulties of prasadam and misunderstanding of the devotees there, and in spite of various other difficulties, the kind of enthusiasm that you have shown, that is possible only for an elevated Vaishnava like yourself. You are a favorite Vaishnava of Srila Prabhupada and a friend of all the special associates of Srila Prabhupada. Most of the devotees in Gaudiya Sangh Ashram in Delhi are new and less respected. They cannot give proper respect to an elevated personality like yours, especially the lofty speculations that you have. Our society at the present circumstances has a little ideas. We hope with all your qualities, very soon you will become settled independently. You will become settled independently. See, you wrote, and fulfilling the desires of Srila Prabhupada, starting preaching very widely. We are suspecting that it won't be possible for an able and respectable Vaishnava like yourself to stay there long, adjusting with the illiterate and less educated devotees of the Gaudiya Sangh in Delhi. Moreover, you are the head of the editorial board of Srimad Keshav Maharaj's Vedanta Samiti's Gaudiya Patrika and Bhagavad Patrika. So if you spend much time in our ashram, then he might become annoyed. With many devotees, he is setting out to circumambulate the land of Raj, and we are sure that he will need your assistance in this parikrama. So you consider all the pros and cons, and if you do not neglect the duty as a leader of his organization, we will be pleased. Some articles have been sent for the October issue, Sajjan Toshni, and some more might be sent. We will be very much obliged if you would instruct Keshwananda Prabhu to publish the October issue. We hope that Shri Guru Maharaj will be able to personally publish the November and December issues. We wish to transfer it to Calcutta from the month of January. Shri Guru Maharaj has become old, and most of the time he has to depend on us. We are happy to know that you are trying very hard to publish the Chaitanya Charitamrita in Hindi. But at the present circumstances, it won't be possible for us to invest 600 rupees from our fund in order to print that. Because Shri Guru Maharaj has taken on many projects in different directions now, and he has to spend a lot of money, so he can't take the responsibility of printing that book. Keshwanand Prabhu wrote that your clothes are getting torn, so buy a pair of clothes from the front of the temple. And if the devotees commit offenses at your lotus feet due to their short-sightedness, please forgive them. Signed, the servant of the Vaishnav, Shri Ramanand Das. So, so many things go on which we don't see from outside. But obviously, for Srila Prabhupada, Krishna was preparing it for something bigger, much bigger, the small mutt in Delhi. It was not the fact that Abhay was being called for leadership in Keshav Maharaj's parikram. Although it was a good excuse for Ramanand suggesting that Abhay leave the Gaudiyas. So after living as a dutiful member in the ashrams of Keshav Maharaj and Bhakti Sarang Maharaj, Abhay was again on his own. So much he went, so much. And for whom? For us, not for him. Only for us, only to serve his Guru Maharaj and, and to try to help fallen souls like us. That's all. But anyway, still much more to come. This is the beginning of it. Okay, I guess we can stop here. See anybody have any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.